Oh man. Okay. Excuse me. I'm sorry. What's up, everybody? I have been busy for the past 2 days on this remix, and you're probably wondering, what the fuck? You've already released a clip and you've not showed us. Well, I'm gonna be for real with you guys. I had some terrible imposter syndrome, and if you don't know what that is, it's basically when you feel like anything you're making at the moment sounds like balls, basically. But I needed some time to think on this remix alone. I apologize, but I will try my best to run you through basically almost everything I did. I did a restart. It's fresh. No, not fresh because I've been working on it, but you know what I mean. Alright. So, first of all, basically followed the same principles, but this time I of course restarted. So let me show you what I have. Yeah. Anyway, you guys have heard the clip, or if you haven't, I'm not gonna go checking it out. But anyway, so what I first did is I took very space. That I got an automation clip. I'll get into that in just a second. And I did, oh god, some shit ton of sound design. So let me organize this for you guys. Hold up. Alright, so this should be a bit easier for you guys to understand. Now it's not a fucking spider web. So with it, hold on. Sorry, dog wanted out of my room. But anyway, so what I basically did, of course, is I took Veri's bass. The bass right here. So, I took a part I liked, which was the very first. I think it's right here. Oh, no, right? Okay, hold on. So let's go ahead and check this. Hold on. Sounds like probably here. So right there. And I took it. So show you guys what I did to the sample, a bass basically. I pitched it down. Length shouldn't be touched, it may be, but I pitched it down just to make it sound different. And anyway, without the processing any of it, it sounds like this, which is a very good texture for a bass. So let me show you what I did. So first of all, I of course followed my main sound design rules here, and I took an EQ and I look like I routed it into the sound goodizer. So basically I just brought up the sound and distorted it. All this is doing, added some tone with the convolver. Like I said in the last episode, I'm gonna skip a couple of things because I've told you guys what things basically does. This is just more advanced routing, and again, like I said, I prefer Patcher because you can route it twice and it works really well. It's just following the same steps. OTT can make it louder, bring out the tone from the isotope trash 2s. I EQ'd it, put the notch filter, sausage fattener to make it fatter, G clip to keep it from going over 0 mark. It's just more of an ADHD thing for me. And the gate to remove any artifacts that will make the sound annoying. And I brought in another layer here, so let me show you. So this is a definitely tonal layer, and without any of the effects. Oh, looks like I got a gate or something. But you guys get the point. It sounds dry. It sounds like shit without any of okay, this is empty EQ, don't worry about it. So very simple sound design here. So the new thing is I like to use Vocodex. If you use Vocodex for tonality, you can use it for experimental stuff. I did it with my clip called Intruder. I never finished it. Got lost motivation on it, but more experimental sound. Like I was trying to do something different, and I routed it twice. So once with the Vocodex and the Camel Crusher, then it goes both in the Camel Crusher, goes in the Sound Godizer. Main sound goes in here into the EQ, all of it together into the EQ, and it goes out to FL Studio. Basically the output. So, and then let's see here, I EQ'd again, I boosted the low end, I brought down the bass, the more muddy area. G-clip again. Don't worry about this. This is a automated thing, actually. Oh, my bad. So it sounds completely different, but it's an automated EQ. Don't worry about it. I think. No, it isn't. It's not an automated EQ. My bad. I took out the low end. It looks like because maybe it was too nasty sounding. I pitched it down for guttural effect, make it lower. I brought up the mids to bring up the mid end because you don't want just a notch in your mix. It'll sound like shit. Got a patcher. I put a Camel Crusher, Sound Godizer, and EQ'd again. So it's basically wash, rinse, repeat, like I said before. So I'll show you guys what I did with the main bass bus here in a minute. I'm showing you the main sound design on the main basses, so I didn't really do much here. It's just very simple tone, compression, out. So that would be layer 3. So is it this one? No, it would be this one. No, it would not. This one is layer 3. Okay, my bad, guys. That layer is unused. Skip it. For a more tonal layer, so you know, I pitch shifted it Maximus. Looks like I brought the low end to mono. I didn't use the EQ. I patchered, you know, Sound Godizer, Camel Crusher, you know, usual stuff. I put down the notch filter here on the bass end, a little bit of the low mid. Patcher again. Excuse me, guys. Sorry. EQ. Brought out most of the low end and low mids, and I compressed it out to FL, and then a notch filter. So it's just random shit. Okay, next one is I took Camel Crusher. You know, it's the same stuff. I'm gonna stop because it's just basically wash, rinse, and repeat when it comes to this sort of thing. So there you go. That's the layers sound design. But now we're going to the bass bus, where it's gonna get a little more complicated. So just give me a moment. Let's see. So it's basically the same thing. So we're just, you know, same techniques, and then gate, you know, more sausage fattener, patcher, you know, basic same stuff. I'm using the limiters here to bring out, keep it from, you know, basically artifacts, getting rid of artifacts with its noise gate. It's not limiting at all, actually. And then the patcher, you know, wash, rinse, repeat, the same thing. Sausage fattener twice because I felt like it, and then Camel Crusher for distortion. Low end, I made it mono, and let's see, looks like that's about it. Okay. I swear there's a little more sound design. Yeah, it's right here. No, it isn't. Okay. So, pretty simple. One thing I do want to note is that a lot of it is being layered. These layers will change the sound completely. So, let me play it out for you, just the bass. You know, the gun, and I let the low end kind of control the fluctuations of the high end, because when the low end gets really muddy, well, not muddy, but really high, really loud, it'll make the bass do some really funky fluctuations. So I did that for added tone and flow. So, okay, that's the basses, basically. I stretched a couple samples, down-tuned it. Yeah, I'm playing fucking guitar. I lowered its pitch for, you know, guttural effect again. And basically that was it with the basses. I took in a drum set, did my drum processing on it, and I'll show you how I do my drum set processing real quick. Very compressed, nasty snare here to add to the snare layer. My actual E snare is what I call it, electrical snare. Add it more. I got that kick, make it more of a metal kick. Like if you've ever listened to death metal or like, you know, anything like that, you'll know the kicks are really high, clicky, like, you know, like, and that can be achieved by doing this. So I took a fruity EQ. I took off the low end because, you know, you don't want that shit interfering with the main actual electrical kick. It's more of a layer kick. I used a Pansy Z here to make the transients a little more pronounced, and I used a Saturn 2 to make the high end louder on the kick here, and I didn't really worry about that part, it looks like. And I have a drum set bus, which is just a lot of holy shit. So no low end. I brought that down pretty low. Some areas like right here, like you're probably wondering why these are so specific, and I'll show you. So as you can see, these are areas that are like really got a really huge bump. I wanted to be able to control the bump to keep it from distorting. Here's the mid area. So that can be pretty important. You just don't want to do it too much with your snare kick. Drum set bus. I boosted up the high end because, you know, metal like drum set. That's about it when it comes to the drum set. I did do some processing on the snare, you know, like a little bit of Saturn 2. Bring down the transient part, or the mid part right here, a little down. And then, alright, and the tom process. I would say this is probably not done, so I'm not going to worry about that right now. The high part, the overhead mic. I boosted the low and mids to, you know, fill the low mids a little bit. EQ, it's flat, don't worry about it. I brought down on the ambient low end because, you know, it's pretty close to being in a different room. You don't want that to be, you know, making more muddiness. Snare compression, I left that alone. I routed it into the snare. Same thing with the kick. I didn't really that same thing with the kick. I just brought it into here because it sounds like shit. I don't know, it just sounds weird like it there. So that's about it for this. You know, usual same technique you guys saw in the last part. I do apologize for you know, going without recording. It's just I needed a minute to kind of have a thought process on my own. I had trouble because I got nervous because I know Viri is watching this. So I felt a little overwhelmed, but that's okay. It's normal. And, you know, the imposter syndrome shit I went through, but I apologize. I'm trying my best to show you everything I do. So flow, I would say it's about just done. I did bring in a gun here. I did use the gun that I used for like the bass shifting to make the high end, you know what I was talking about before. So bass layers in. I forgot that part there. Oh, electric drum bus. Okay, it's my bad. It needs a little bit of high end. So now I took electric kick, electric snare. So kick untouched. I used that from his actual song. Snares untouched mostly. Used it from a song. I processed it about like a normal electronic kick. So. Taking out that low end to keep it from, making it muddy kick. I don't want that. So anyway, I do route my drums into a drum bus of their own. I do have a transient shaper to bring up the transients of a Maximus to make the low end mono. No, I don't. Fixed. Okay, so low end mono, Saturn 2, I don't know why I have a G clip on the drums. So yeah, and then a little bit of reverb for added wetness and so it's not just dry. So let me think here. See what else I'd like to mention to you guys. Pretty self-explanatory. It's, if I could go over flow too soon, but I have a stretch sample here. Sounds pretty unpleasant. Pretty much in touch with a little bit of mix on here, but it's not even on. Never mind. More of a high indie layer to add some cool fluctuation. Try and fix the drum a little bit. With an added transient shaper, and I might even make the side changes a tiny bit heavier. I'm going to want to mention to you guys is how do I mix my songs? Okay, so let me run it down for you. I'm going to use my notepad. So notepad. Oh my god, don't worry about all this shit over here. So this is how I mix my songs. This is how I mix. All right. So what do I want on top? You always want your drums. Drums always on top. You don't. You want your drums on top of the mix. Well, not on top, but the loudest. Because, it's the drums. One of the most important things in Minatory. Or in any song, matter of fact. And then, after the drums, I want to make sure the drums are hitting. When I get the drums hitting pretty good, I bring in my basses. Because, again, Minatory isn't known for just its drums. It's known for its basses, too. So, you want to bring your basses, second loudest in the mix. And third. I usually put in my ambience in the third part to add a little more texture, more scary spookiness like the one here in this remix. And then not last but maybe not final. Well, actually, you can have either ambience or melody. If you have a melody, you'd want to probably do this. You'd probably want to have your melody here, and then you'd want to probably have the ambience as the last thing. And you need to, process the drums. During the drops, it depends more. If you have ambience with a lot of low end, rumbly, you can either cut the low end or just leave it. It's whatever you want to do. If you want more of a clean mix, you're gonna want to remove that low end from the ambience as well. So basses, you're gonna if you're using a sub too, you're gonna want your sub pretty loud. So I'd probably say the thing under the bass, maybe a little louder, would probably be the sub, maybe, because it's the low end of the mix. It's important, especially in Minatory, because it's Minatory. So that's how I mix my shit down, basically, in a really, really, really simplistic way, because mixing Minatory can be pretty fucking hard, especially when it's all high end and like, you know, really harsh distorted ass basses. It's just, it takes time to like, you know, clean that up. You know, usually this is mostly how I would EQ my basses. Okay, I guess there's no master EQ or master in quotation. Master EQ. So if you look at the way it's mixed, it's like, it's sort of like, I don't know, I can just pull up paint and show you, like, a lot of the Minatory basses kind of have like a figure like this, and there's the notch. There's the notch right there, you know, like this part, the dip, duh. And then the high ends here, and then your low ends here. The notch can be very annoying for certain people, so you can usually maybe fill it in with the ambience and the kick and the drums or whatever in your best ability, or you can just leave it and you can mix it differently, use layers of the basses to fill in the notch, because you know, if you don't want fucking, it can sound very, very empty if you don't take care of that mid section area. Like, you know, a lot of metal has this issue too. You want to make, if you want to get rid of your notch, most of the notch anyway, because this is how my mixes look like, and let me show you. Excuse me guys, I'm pretty tired. Sorry if I'm like, don't make any sense or anything. So I want to open up my span here. Said, like, you know, it's following this pattern. That's the entire mix, which can be a very big issue. So you want to fill in that shit with melody or ambience, but I just prefer to leave it because I don't give a shit. I'm gonna be for real. But you know, if you want to give a shit and you want to fix it, well then, you know, you're gonna add stuff in that area, or you can just not even notch filter your bass if you don't feel like it. But to me, when I try not filter my notch fill my if I try to you know, fill that, leave the notch filters off, it loses a lot of its tone and it sounds muddy. It sounds like asshole, but you can sometimes get away with it. But if you want it to be more mixed better, I would probably recommend watching Wide Eyes' stream if you want to watch how he mixes stuff down, because he definitely knows a lot more about the mixing stuff than me. He can probably help you. I'm sure I know he does lessons, so I mean, you can go up to him and ask for lessons too. No, I don't want to save that. It's terrible ass drawing. But yeah, so, you know, and another thing is I want to mention, I'm almost kind of hitting basic stuff right now. Like, how do I EQ my kicks and stuff? It's just, let me show you. So my kick, or electronic kick, as a matter of fact. So this one, I noticed the problem I didn't like about this one is its low end is pretty bad. So I dipped the low end. I brought up the treble like a metal kick, you know, and then, you know, again, it sounds completely different without this Saturn here. So how do I distort my kicks with Saturn? Well, here you go. It's basically this. Low end is dropped, just like the EQ here. It's, oops. Oh, I actually don't know how to remove this. Okay, please don't think I'm an idiot. I know there's like a... Fuck. Hold on, guys. Okay, whatever. It doesn't really matter. So how do I distort my kicks with Saturn too? Well, there you go. There's the pattern. So, you know, high end. Bringed up the high end, distorted it. I kept the mid end about the same because I was pretty happy with how flat it was. I brought down the low end because it was a little too much. And transient shaper. That's transient, you know, the snare. So usually this is how I will EQ a snare right now. There's no EQ, so let me show you. Very much noticing right now is that my reverse layer of the kick is very much interfering with its transient shaping, and it is ruining the kick right now. So I might have to make a separate channel for it. So let's go ahead and do this. Make a separate channel. anyway, snares. I usually like to, oops, bring up the, the dunk dunk, the sound. I like to bring that up. I like to get rid of all the low end bullshit, make it more clear, and get rid of the low end. Because the bass and kick, that's its job. Don't want it to interfere. I do want to mention something about, I recommend getting Span if you want to become a mix nerd, because you can do this. How do I do that? I press and hold control, and I drag on left click, and hit control, and I go around on it, and it'll single out the frequencies. Frequency you really don't like. It very much can help, get rid of it. When you want to find like what the exact area is, and you can find it, and then you can start singling out stuff, and then you can find where it actually is coming from. So yeah, there's that. Let me think here. So I would say again, the way I EQ my bass is a notch. I'm gonna use Pain again because I find it easier, almost in a way. So if you have a bass that is like this, and you got God, that's terrible. If you got a bass that has this notch here, and you want to fill it in, there's multiple things you can probably do. You can either get a drum, like a little bit of the drum mids to help fill it up, but you don't want to be too much, or you can get help with the bass, another bass layer to, fill it in with an EQ that looks like maybe like this almost. It just depends, to fill in. You could even do like a fucking like that. It's just really, God, I can't draw with this shit, but you get what I mean. You can do this, you can get drums, bass. You can even, and oh my God, brain, sorry. You can use ambience to even fill that in. So that's usually what I do. I cut off the ambience here on the low end. Low end's nasty, and then I just bring up, because it's the high end's like a melody. You're a melody, you can do this too and bring it in. So it's kind of like funneling almost into the bass, but this is definitely like how I do it. Again, if you're wanting to be crazy clean, good ass mixing, check out White Eyes. Or if you just want to mix like me, here you go. This is my tips. From what I've learned over 3 years I've been doing this for. So, one more thing maybe is that, not one more thing, but I'm trying to think of one more thing basically, because I am getting pretty tired and I'm probably gonna log off here in a minute. But so yeah, that's how I mix. Showing how bass design, I did that. I've pretty much covered that in the last tutorial. I'd say that's pretty much it for now. I'll start covering it more. I could probably work on the second drop with you guys now that I got a basic idea. Maybe. It just depends on my fucking nervousness. But anyway, so that was simple mixing and, rundown of how I do my stuff. I hope I helped you guys a little bit, because I know how confusing mixing can be. But anyway, thank you for checking out my tutorial. Of course, don't forget to check out Veritas, crazy musician, producer, and check out White Eyes if you want help with mixing. He's really good with mixing. He streams I think every day, so you can check out his streaming. Watch him. I've definitely learned stuff from just sitting around. He does feedback too, so if you want to send your tracks to him, you can join his Discord and send it in. I feel like I'm promoting him too much, but no, he's really good. He's a really good dude. He's really nice. But anyway, I hope I helped you guys, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.